in Modern Wonders. Jade woke up the next morning to a text from Melissa. Bioexam postponed until Monday. Professor Chen has the flu. Want to study at my place? She texted back, can't today, dealing with the foreign exchange student situation. The ridiculously hot Romanian guy. Girl, you're living in a romance novel. Details later. If only Melissa knew how accurate that assessment was. Jade rolled out of bed and pattered downstairs in her pajamas, expecting to find Victor in the basement. Instead, she found him in the kitchen, standing in front of the open refrigerator with the expression of someone trying to decode ancient hieroglyphics. "Morning," Jade said, reaching past him for the orange juice. "What are you doing?" "Attempt to understand the purpose of each item in this cold box. I comprehend that it preserves food, but the variety is overwhelming. What is this?" He held up a container of Greek yogurt. "Yogurt. It's like fermented milk. You wouldn't like it." Fermented milk was common in my time. We called it cheese. "It's not cheese, it's yogurt. They're different." Jade took the container from him and grabbed a spoon. "Where's my mom?" "She departed an hour ago. She said something about a shift at the hospital and that she would not return until late evening. So we had the house to ourselves." Jade ate a spoonful of yogurt, thinking, "Good. That means I can properly educate you on modern life without having to explain why I'm teaching basic concepts to a supposed college student." Victor closed the refrigerator door. "I'm eager to learn. This world is fascinating and terrifying in equal measure. That's pretty much the human experience in a nutshell. Okay, lesson 1. Come with me." She led into the living room and grabbed her phone from the coffee table. Victor eyed it warily, like it might explode. "This is a smartphone," Jay explained. "It's basically a computer you can carry in your pocket. You can use it to communicate, access information, take pictures, play games, watch videos, and about a million other things." "A computer. I encountered this term yesterday in your electronic texts. It is a thinking machine?" "Sort of. It processes information really fast. Here, look." She unlocked her phone and pulled up Google. "You can ask it questions and it'll give you answers. Watch. Google, what year was the Battle of Hastings?" Her phone voice assistant responded immediately. "The Battle of Hastings was fought on October 14th, 1066. Victor jumped back, his hand going to his hip where a sword would normally be. The device speaks. "It's called a voice assistant. It's programmed to respond to questions. It's not alive, it's just software." Jade grinned at his reaction. "You're gonna hate this, but it gets weirder. Google, who was Victor from Underworld?" "Victor is a fictional vampire elder from the Underworld film series, portrayed by Bill Nye." Victor stared at the phone. "The device knows of me. It speaks of me as if I'm a story. Because in this world, you were a story. Until 2 days ago, when you became real." Jade set the phone down. "This is what I meant about things being complicated. In my world, you're a character from a movie, but you're also real now, which breaks pretty much every rule of reality I've ever known." Victor was quiet for a moment, processing. "This actor who portrayed me. Bill Nye. May I see him?" "Sure." Jade pulled up YouTube and searched for Underworld clips. She found one of Victor's awakening scene and handed the phone to Victor. He watched in silence, his expression unreadable as his fictional counterpart moved across the small screen. When the clip ended, he looked up at Jade. "The resemblance is remarkable. This human studied me, learned my mannerisms?" "No, you're based on him, or on the character the writers created. I don't know how this works, Victor. Chicken and egg situation. Did you exist first and inspire the movie, or did the movie create you? I have no idea." A philosophical puzzle for the ages. Victor handed back the phone carefully. "This device troubles me. It contains too much knowledge, too much power. In my time, information was controlled, guarded. Books were rare. Now you tell me that all the world's knowledge fits in this small object?" "Pretty much. Welcome to the information age. It's overwhelming for people who grew up with it. I can't imagine what it's like for you." Victor sat down on the couch, looking genuinely disturbed. "In my time, I was powerful because I controlled resources, information, armies, territory. But here, the child could access information I spent centuries accumulating. A peasant could learn secrets that nobles died to protect. The balance of power has shifted so dramatically that I barely recognize the concept of power at all." Next. Jade sat beside him. "Is that scary?" "Terrifying and exhilarating. I am no longer the most knowledgeable person in any room. I am, in fact, likely the least knowledgeable in most situations. It is humbling." He looked at her. "I find I do not entirely dislike the feeling." "Character growth. I'm impressed." Jade pulled up her phone again. "Okay, next lesson. Social media. This is where things get really weird." For the next hour, Jade walked Victor through the basics of modern communication. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. His reactions ranged from confusion to horror to occasional amusement. "People voluntarily share intimate details of their lives with strangers?" he asked, scrolling through Instagram posts. "All the time. It's kind of a problem, honestly. People overshare constantly. In my time, information about oneself was carefully controlled. To reveal weakness or personal details was to invite attack." "Yeah, well, now people post what they have for breakfast and expect everyone to care. Different world." Jade took the phone back. "But it's not all bad. Social media connects people across distances. I have friends I've never met in person but talk to every day. It builds communities. Or the illusion of communities." "Okay, you're not wrong, but you're also being judgmental about something you've known about for like an hour. Give it time." Victor nodded slowly. "You're correct. I'm viewing this through the lens of my own time. I must adapt." "That's the spirit. Now, let me show you something I think you'll actually like." Jade pulled up YouTube and navigated to her playlists. Music. You had music in your time, right? Of course, though it was quite different. Minstrels, orchestras for the wealthy, simple instruments, drums, lutes, harps. Right, well, music has evolved. A lot. She pulled up her sweet feeling playlist, a collection of songs she'd been curating for months. This is my favorite playlist. Mix of everything. Rock, pop, soul, a little country. I listen to it when I need to feel good. She hit play on the first song. Fleetwood Mac's Dreams filled the living room from her Bluetooth speaker. Victor's entire demeanor changed. He sat up straighter, his head tilting slightly as he listened. When Stevie Nicks' voice came in, smooth and haunting, his eyes widened. "This is remarkable," he said quietly. "The quality of sound, the complexity. How is this possible?" Recording technology. That song was recorded in the 70s. We can capture sound and replay it perfectly whenever we want. Jade watched his face as he listened. "Do you like it?" "It is beautiful, melancholic, but hopeful. The woman's voice, it is like nothing I have heard before, so clear, as if she stands in this very room." That's Stevie Nicks. She's a legend. The song played on, and Jade found herself seeing it through Victor's perspective. He was hearing recorded music for the first time, perfect reproduction of sound, something that didn't exist in his world. It must have been like magic. When the song ended, Victor looked at her with something approaching wonder. "May we hear more?" Jade grinned. "We can listen to the whole playlist. Buckle up, this is like 3 hours of music." The next song was The Supremes, You Can't Hurry Love, upbeat and infectious. Victor listened with the same intense focus, his foot tapping unconsciously to the rhythm. The tempo was faster, the feeling different, joyful. That's Diana Ross and The Supremes, Motown, completely different genre from Fleetwood Mac, but both amazing. Jade curled up on the couch, enjoying his reactions. Music is one of the best things about the modern world. We have access to everything, every style, every era, every culture. You want to hear music from Japan, from Brazil, from anywhere in the world, it's all right here. "The wealth of it," Victor said softly. "In my time, if you wanted to hear music, you needed musicians present. Every performance was unique, never to be exactly replicated. Now you tell me you can hear any song, anytime, as many times as you wish?" "Exactly. I've probably listened to Dreams 1,000 times. I never get tired of it." "1,000 times," Victor repeated, shaking his head. "The abundance of this age is staggering." They listened through several more songs. Jade watched Victor's reactions, fascinated by the way each new style affected him. He seemed thoughtful during God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, almost pained during Otis Redding's These Arms of Mine, and surprisingly energized by Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. "This one, I enjoy this one," he said when Freddie Mercury's voice kicked in. "It has spirit, playfulness." That's Queen. Freddie Mercury is the singer. He was incredible. Died way too young. Jade felt the familiar pang of sadness that came with thinking about Freddie. He would have loved that you like his music. "You speak of him as if you knew him." "I didn't, but his music makes me feel like I did. That's the thing about good music. It creates connection across time and space. You're listening to a man who died before I was born, but his voice is right here, making us both feel something. That's powerful." Victor nodded slowly. "I understand. It is similar to how I feel about the poets of my youth. Long dead, but their words still move me." "Exactly. See, you get it." Jade was getting excited now. Music is a universal language. It doesn't matter when or where you're from. Good music speaks to everyone. The playlist continued. Some songs Victor clearly didn't care for. He found rap aggressive and difficult to pass, though he admitted the rhythm was impressive. Electronic music confused him. "Where are the instruments?" he kept asking. "But soul music, classic rock, folk," though he responded too strongly. When Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Israel Kamaka We Will Low came on, Victor went very still. "This one," he said quietly. "This one is special." Jade smiled. "It's one of my favorites. Hawaiian version of a song from an old movie. The guy playing the ukulele, Israel, he was incredible. Died young, like Freddie, but he left us this." They listened in silence as Israel's gentle voice filled the room, singing about bluebirds and dreams and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. When it ended, Victor looked at Jade with an expression she couldn't quite read. "In my time, I heard many songs, battle hymns, religious chants, courtly music, but never anything like this. Never something so gentle and yet so powerful. It speaks of hope, of longing, of beauty. That's exactly what it is. That's what the best music does. It captures feelings we can't put into words and makes them real." Victor was quiet for a moment, then said, "I'm grateful you shared this with me. In all the strangeness of this world, in all the confusion and fear, this music, your music, it helps me understand, not just the mechanics of this time, but the heart of it, the humanity." Jade felt her chest tighten with emotion. That might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. "I speak only truth." They listened to more of the playlist, the morning stretching into afternoon. Jade ordered pizza for lunch, which led to another education session when it arrived. "A stranger brings food to your door?" Victor asked, watching the delivery driver through the window. "That's how delivery works. You order online or by phone, they bring it to you, you pay them. Simple. Nothing about this world is simple." The pizza itself fascinated him. "I've never seen bread prepared this way, with cheese and meat atop it." It's pizza, one of humanity's greatest inventions. You can't eat it, which is a tragedy, but you should at least smell it. Jade opened the box, and Victor leaned in cautiously. "The aroma is pleasant, savory. In my time, we have flatbreads with various toppings, but nothing so elaborate." "See, not everything modern is worse." Jade took a bite and moaned slightly. "God, I love pizza. If I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, it would be pizza." "You are easily pleased," says the vampire who got excited about a smartphone. "I was not excited. I was curious. You literally jumped when Google talked to you." Victor looked offended. "I was startled, not excited." "Right, totally different." Jade grinned at him. "Admit it, Victor. Some parts of the modern world are pretty cool." He considered this, then nodded slowly. "The music is exceptional. The ease of communication is impressive. The abundance of food and resources is remarkable. But the noise, the constant stimulation, the way everyone seems to live in a state of perpetual distraction, that troubles me." Fair criticism. We are pretty distracted as a society. Social media, streaming, constant notifications. It's hard to just be present sometimes. Yet, you manage it. Do I? Right now, yes. You are here, with me, sharing your music, and your food, and your time. You are present. It is a rare quality, I think. Jade felt her face heat. "You're really good at saying things that sound romantic, but probably aren't meant to be romantic." Victor's eyebrow raised. "And if they were meant to be romantic?" Oh no. Jade's brain short-circuited momentarily. Was Victor flirting with her? The ancient vampire warlord who'd been in her world for barely 2 days was flirting with her? "Then I would say you're moving really fast for someone who just learned what pizza is," she managed. Victor smiled, that rare, genuine smile that transformed his face. "Perhaps. But I am 800 years old, Jade. I have learned that time is precious and should not be wasted on hesitation. That sounds like something from a romance novel. Does it? I am simply speaking my truth. Jade took another bite of pizza to avoid responding. This was dangerous territory. Yes, she'd had a crush on fictional Victor for years. Yes, real Victor was even more attractive and complex than his fictional counterpart. But he was also a vampire from another world, bound to her by mysterious blood magic. Getting romantically involved would be complicated beyond measure. And yet, the way he was looking at her right now, with those ice blue eyes full of warmth and something that might have been affection, it made her want to throw caution to the wind and see what happened. We should keep listening to the playlist, she said instead, deflecting. There's some really good stuff coming up. If Victor was disappointed by the subject change, he didn't show it. I would like that very much. The afternoon continued with music and conversations. Victor asked questions about everything: how the internet worked, why people watched television, what movies were, how cars functioned. Jade answered as best she could, often pulling up YouTube videos to demonstrate concepts he couldn't grasp from explanation alone. When she showed him a video of a rocket launch, he watched in absolute silence until the rocket disappeared from view. Humans have conquered the sky, he said finally, and beyond it. You have touched the stars. Well, the moon, at least. And we sent probes farther, Mars, Jupiter, even out of the solar system. In my time, we believed the stars were fixed points of light, unreachable. The domain of God. Now you tell me humans have sent machines beyond the known world? Yep, we're explorers. It's kind of what we do. Victor shook his head slowly. The audacity, the ambition. Humans are remarkable creatures. We have our moments. Jade pulled up another video. Okay, you want to see something really cool? Watch this. She showed him footage of the International Space Station, astronauts floating in zero gravity, the Earth visible through the windows. Victor watched, transfixed. They live in the sky? In space, yeah. The station orbits Earth. They conduct experiments, study the planet, live up there for months at a time. Months without touching ground, without feeling grass beneath their feet or rain on their faces. Victor's expression was complex. I'm not certain if that is wondrous or tragic. Maybe both. Most things are both. They were interrupted by Jade's phone ringing. Her mom. She answered quickly. Hey, Mom. Hi, sweetie. I'm going to be even later than I thought. We had an emergency mission and we're short-staffed. Can you handle dinner on your own? Yeah, no problem. I already ordered pizza. Did you get enough for Victor? Jade glanced at Victor, who was watching her with curious attention. He's not really hungry. Different eating schedule. Well, make sure he's comfortable. I feel bad that we haven't been more hospitable. He's fine, Mom. Really. Don't worry. Okay. I'll be home by midnight at the latest. Love you. Love you, too. Jade hung up and found Victor smiling slightly. Your mother worries about my comfort. She is kind. She's a nurse. Caretaking is literally her job. Jade checked the time. 5 p.m. They'd been hanging out all day, and she barely noticed the time passing. Do you need to, rest or anything? I know you said vampires don't really sleep, but maybe you need downtime? I'm content to continue as we are, unless you require respite from my company. I didn't say that. I just don't want to exhaust you with modern world immersion. It's a lot to take in. It is, but I prefer overwhelming education to sitting alone in your basement contemplating my displacement from reality. Victor gestured to the phone. May we continue with the music? There were songs on your list I have not yet heard. Sure. Jade pulled up the playlist and let it continue. The next song was Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, upbeat and impossible not to sing along to. Jade found herself humming, then singing softly. Sweet Caroline, pa pa pa, good times never seem so good. Victor watched her with what might have been amusement. You enjoyed the song. Everyone enjoys this song. It's scientifically impossible not to like it. She turned up the volume. Come on, sing with me. Sweet Caroline. I do not know the words. That's fine. Just make noise during the ba 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 part. Come on, live a little. You're an immortal vampire. You can handle some Neil Diamond. Victor looked profoundly uncomfortable. I am a warrior and a lord. I do not make meaningless sounds. The ba 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 is not meaningless. It's iconic. It's part of the song. Jade was laughing now. Please, for me? Something shifted in Victor's expression. You asked very little of me, Jade. I suppose I can humor this request. When the chorus came around again, Jade sang loudly, and Victor, looking like a man facing execution, quietly added, ba ba ba. It was possibly the funniest thing Jade had ever witnessed. This ancient, powerful vampire, reluctantly participating in a sing-along to Neil Diamond. She burst out laughing, and after a moment, Victor's mouth twitched into an almost smile. I am glad my humiliation amuses you, he said dryly. It's not humiliation, it's fun. That's what music is for. Enjoyment. I preferred when we listened in contemplative silence. Too bad, we're doing this now. You're being introduced to the full modern music experience, which includes singing along badly and enjoying yourself. The song ended, and the next one began. Build Me Up, Buttercup by The Foundations. Another sing-along classic. Oh no, Victor said. Oh yes, Jade counted. This one's even better. Come on, Victor. Build me up, Buttercup. Don't break my heart. I refuse. I'll keep playing sing-along songs until you participate. I have dozens of them on this playlist. Victor looked genuinely distressed. This is torture. This is bonding. Come on, just one line, please. He stared at her for a long moment, and Jade deployed her most effective weapon, puppy dog eyes. She'd perfected the technique on her mom over 20 years, and it had never failed. Victor cracked. One line. Only one. Yes. When the chorus came around, Jade pointed at him, then Victor, looking like he regretted every decision that had led to this moment, quietly sang, Build me up, Buttercup, baby. Jade should. That was perfect. You have a good voice. I have spent 800 years commanding armies. My voice carries authority. Your voice carries a tune, which is more important right now. See? This isn't so bad. It is undignified. It's human. Well, the human experience anyway. Sometimes we do silly things just because they make us happy. That's allowed. Victor considered this. In my time, everything served a purpose. Every action had strategic value. There was no room for frivolity. That sounds exhausting. It was necessary. Maybe then, but you're here now, in a time of relative peace and abundance. You don't have to be a warlord 24/7. You can just be Victor. You can enjoy things. I'm not certain I remember how. Jade felt her heart clench. 800 years of war, of constant vigilance, of being a leader and a weapon. When had Victor last done something just because it brought him joy? Then I'll teach you, she said finally. Along with smartphones and pizza and music, I'll teach you how to have fun. Deal? Victor looked at her for a long moment, his expression soft. You are a remarkable young woman, Jade Alexandra Anderson. I'm really not. I'm extremely average in almost every way. You summoned me across worlds, freed me from my greatest curse, and now seek to teach me joy. I believe your assessment of yourself is inaccurate. Jade didn't know what to say to that, so she just smiled and hit play on the next song. They spent the rest of the evening listening to music, Jade providing commentary on each song while Victor absorbed it all with that intense focus of his. She showed him everything from classical to jazz to punk rock. His tastes were surprisingly eclectic. He disliked heavy metal, too chaotic, but loved jazz. The improvisation is remarkable. He was indifferent to country music, but responded strongly to blues. This genre speaks to suffering, he said during a B.B. King song. The pain is universal. The blues came from a really dark period of American history. Slavery, oppression, pain, but out of that suffering came this incredible art form. That's the human experience. We take our pain and make something beautiful from it. As I have seen you do, Victor said quietly. What do you mean? Your parents' divorce, your struggles with money and education, the loneliness I sense in you sometimes. You take these difficulties and transform them into strength, into kindness, into music and laughter, and the ability to teach a displaced vampire how to enjoy Neil Diamond. Jade felt tears prick her eyes. That's the second really nice thing you said to me today. You're going to give me a complex. I speak only what I observe. Well, observe quieter. I'm not used to compliments. Then you should be paid them more often. They were sitting closer now than they had been at the start of the evening, the space between them on the couch gradually shrinking as the hours passed. Jade was acutely aware of his presence, the coolness of his body, the way he smelled like leather and something else, something indefinable and intoxicating. The playlist shuffled to Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley, slow and romantic. Jade immediately reached to skip it, too on the nose, too dangerous given the direction her thoughts were going, but Victor stopped her. Wait, I would like to hear this one. So they sat in the dimming light of early evening, listening to Elvis croon about wise men and fools and rivers flowing to the sea. The lyrics felt heavy with meaning, every line about falling in love impossibly relevant to the tension building between them. When it ended, Victor said, the sentiment is beautiful, but also tragic. Why tragic? Because love is a luxury I cannot afford. My existence is violence and darkness. To bring someone into that, to bind them to me through affection rather than necessity, he shook his head. It would be cruel. That's a pretty bleak outlook. It is a realistic one. I have loved Jade, once, long ago. My wife, my daughter. Both died because of what I am, because of the enemies my nature attracts. I will not risk such pain again, for myself or for another. Jade absorbed this. She knew about Victor's daughter from the movies, the tragic backstory that drove his character, but hearing him speak of it as a real loss, real pain, made it visceral. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I can't imagine that kind of loss. I pray you never experience it. Victor looked at her, his eyes full of centuries of grief. You asked earlier if I was speaking romantically. I will be honest with you, Jade. I find you remarkable, beautiful, brave. In another life, in another time, I would pursue you without hesitation. But I am what I am, and my affection brings only danger. I'm not afraid of danger. You should be, especially where I am concerned. They stared at each other, with tension thick enough to cut. Jade knew she should back off, change the subject, maintain the careful distance they'd established. But something reckless in her, the part that had accepted a vampire into her home without question, pushed forward. What if I told you I've had a crush on you since I was 15? Victor's eyes widened slightly. On the fictional version of me. On you. The character was based on something real, some archetype or idea that resonated. And now you're here, real and complicated and even more compelling than the movie version. So, yeah, Victor, I like you. Present tense. Current reality you. Jade, I'm not asking for forever. I'm not asking you to make me a vampire or declare your undying love. I'm just being honest. You said you don't waste time on hesitation? Neither do I. I like you. I like spending time with you. I like teaching you about music and watching you struggle with pizza delivery and hearing you reluctantly sing along to Neil Diamond. She took a breath. And I think you like me too. Victor was very still. I do. Very much. Too much, perhaps. How can you like someone too much? When that liking puts them in danger. Jade, you do not understand what I am capable of. The violence, the destruction. I have killed thousands. I have waged wars that decimated populations. I'm not some romantic figure from your films. I'm a monster who has learned to wear a man's face. I don't believe that. Monsters don't sit and listen to music for hours. Monsters don't worry about putting others in danger. Monsters don't look at me the way you're looking at me right now. And how am I looking at you? Like I matter. Like you see me, really see me, not just the surface stuff. Jade moved closer, close enough to feel the coolness radiating from him. I know this is complicated. I know there are about a million reasons why this is a terrible idea, but when has that ever stopped anyone from taking a chance? Jade, Victor stopped, his hand coming up to her face, not quite touching. If I allow myself to care for you, truly care for you, I do not know if I could bear the inevitable loss. Humans are so fragile, so brief. You will age and die while I remain unchanged. That is the curse of immortality. Then we make the most of the time we have. Isn't that what humans do? We know we're temporary, so we love harder, feel deeper, live fuller, because we don't have forever. Victor's hand finally made contact, his cool fingers brushing her cheek. You are wise beyond your years. I'm 20 years old and living with my mom. I'm not that wise. You are wiser than you know. His thumb traced her cheekbone, his touch gentle. I want to kiss you. I've wanted to since yesterday, if I'm being honest. But I fear starting something I cannot finish. Then don't finish it. Just start it. We'll figure out the rest later. Victor smiled, sad and tender. You make it sound simple. Maybe it is. Maybe we're overthinking this. Perhaps. He leaned closer, his cool breath ghosting across her face. Are you certain, Jade? Once I begin, I do not know if I can maintain an appropriate distance. I'm certain. Victor's lips met hers, cool and soft and perfect. It was a gentle kiss, tentative, as if he was afraid of breaking her. Jade leaned in, her hand coming up to his chest, feeling the stillness there where a heartbeat should be. He made a small sound, almost a groan, and the kiss deepened. His arm came around her waist, pulling her closer, and Jade felt that electrical connection between them flare into something more, heat and desire, and a binding that went beyond physical attraction. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, well, Jade was breathing hard. Victor didn't technically need to breathe. Victor rested his forehead against hers. That was unwise, he said. Probably. We should not do it again. We definitely should. Victor laughed, a real laugh, surprised and genuine. You are trouble, little flame. Little flame? Your hair, your spirit, you burn bright, it suits you. Jade felt her face heat. That's actually really cute. I'll give you that nickname. It is yours. Victor pulled back slightly, his expression serious again. But Jade, we must discuss this realistically. I am not human. I am not even from this world. Our connection, whatever it is, it may not be real. It may be a function of the magic that binds us. Does it feel like magic to you? No, he admitted. It feels like choice, like I am choosing you and you are choosing me. But I could be wrong. Let me test it. We spend time together, get to know each other, see if what we're feeling is real or just mystical weirdness. We don't have to rush anything. Victor nodded slowly. A logical approach. Though logic seems to abandon me when you are near. Good. Logic is overrated anyway. Jade checked her phone. 9 p.m. My mom will be home in a few hours. We should probably look less like we were making out and more like we were having a totally innocent cultural exchange. We were having a cultural exchange. That ended in kissing. An unfortunate side effect of your remarkable lips. Jade laughed. Smooth. You're surprisingly smooth for someone from the 13th century. I have always been skilled at courtship. Some talents endure across centuries. They spent the next few hours in comfortable companionship, the physical tension eased by their conversation. Jade showed Victor more modern marvels. Video games, streaming services, online shopping. His reactions continued to be a mix of amazement and concern. You can purchase any item and have it brought to your dwelling, he asked, watching her scroll through Amazon. Yep, usually arrives in 2 days, sometimes faster. The logistics alone must be staggering. Warehouses, shipping networks, algorithms. It's a whole system, capitalism at its finest and most terrifying. Victor was quiet for a moment. In my time, trade was difficult, dangerous. Goods traveled slowly along perilous roads. To have such abundance, such ease of acquisition, it would be beyond imagining. And yet here we are, living in the unimaginable future. Jade closed the laptop. You know what's weird? Yesterday morning, my biggest concern was passing my sociology exam and affording gas money. Now, I'm teaching a vampire warlord how to use Amazon. Life comes at you fast. Indeed it does. Victor looked at her seriously. Jade, I want you to know that regardless of what develops between us romantically, I value your friendship, your guidance, your patience. You have given me more in 2 days than I've received in centuries. That is not a debt I take lightly. Again with the debts. Victor, you don't owe me anything. We're helping each other. That's what people do. Not in my experience. Then your experience was with terrible people. The bar is literally on the floor. Victor smiled. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps the world has changed more than I realized. Perhaps kindness is more common now than it was in my time. I wouldn't go that far. We still have plenty of terrible people. But yeah, there's also a lot of good. You just have to look for it. They were interrupted by the sound of a car in the driveway. Jade's mom, home earlier than expected. Positions, Jade hissed, jumping to the opposite end of the couch. Look educational and appropriate. Victor grabbed the nearest book, unfortunately one of Jade's romance novels, and opened it to a random page. When Jade's mom walked in, there was a picture of innocence. Jade on one end of the couch with her laptop, Victor on the other with a book, appropriate distance between them. Hey, Mom, Jade said brightly. How was work? Her mom looked exhausted, but smiled. Long. We finally got the patient stabilized. How was your day? Did you two do anything interesting? Just introduced Victor to some American music and culture. Very educational. That's nice. Her mom looked at Victor. Are you settling in okay? Very well, thank you. Your daughter has been an excellent guide. She's a good kid. Well, I'm going to bed. Early shift tomorrow. Try to keep the noise down. Will do. Night, Mom. When her mom was safely upstairs, Jade and Victor both exhaled in relief. That was close, Jade whispered. I feel as though I have done something illicit. We merely kissed. Merely kissed? Have you met my mom? She's already suspicious. We have to be careful. Victor set down the romance novel and raised an eyebrow at the cover. This literature is extraordinarily explicit. The cover alone suggests activities of a highly intimate nature. Jade snatched the book away. Stop judging my reading habits. I'm not judging. I'm merely observing that your taste in literature is quite adventurous. It's paranormal romance. It's a genre. Lots of people read it. I'm certain they do. Victor was definitely smirking now. Perhaps you could recommend one where a modern woman becomes involved with a vampire. I suspect the parallels might be instructive. Jade threw a couch pillow at him. You're the worst. I am the worst, yet you kiss me. A momentary lapse in judgment. Shall we test if it was truly momentary, or if perhaps your judgment will lapse again? He was flirting. The ancient vampire warlord was flirting with her in her living room while her mom slept upstairs. This was Jade's life now. This was actually happening. Ring check, she said, trying to sound firm. My mom has supernatural hearing when it comes to inappropriate behavior. She'll come down here like a ninja if we start anything. Then I shall retreat to my quarters in the basement. But Jade, he stood, moving toward the basement door. Yeah? Today was one of the best days I have experienced in 8 centuries. Thank you for sharing your music, your world, and yourself with me. Before Jade could respond, he was gone, disappeared down the stairs with that vampire speed. She sat on the couch, her heart racing, her lips still tingling from their kiss. She was in trouble. Deep, complicated, dangerous trouble. She'd fallen for a vampire warlord from another world, bound to her by blood magic, who could kiss like sin and quote poetry and reluctantly sing Neil Diamond. Her life had officially become a paranormal romance novel, and honestly, she was okay with that. Jade grabbed her phone and pulled up her sweet feeling playlist one more time, letting music play softly. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, but tonight she was content. She taught Victor about music and smartphones and the modern world. She made him laugh, made him sing, made him admit he liked her. She'd kissed him and entertained everything she'd imagined, and more. Not bad for a Thursday. Jade headed up to her room, already thinking about tomorrow. What else could she show Victor? What other experiences could she share? The world was full of wonders, and she wanted to introduce him to all of them. But for now, she climbed into bed, her sweet feeling playlist still humming through her speakers, and smiled at the ceiling. Victor from Underworld was real. He was in her basement. He liked her music, her company, and hopefully her. And despite all the complications, despite all the reasons it was a terrible idea, she was falling for him. Life was strange. Life was complicated. Life was absolutely insane. But for the first time in a long time, Jade felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. In a house with a vampire. Teaching him about Neil Diamond. Falling into something that could be love or could be disaster, but felt like adventure either way. Sweet feeling, indeed. End of episode 3.